Hey everyone, and welcome! If you've ever dealt with that burning, tingling, or that awful pins and needles feeling from nerve pain, then you know exactly what we're talking about today. In this explainer, we're going to go way beyond just trying to mask the symptoms. We're going to dive into the science of how you can support actual nerve repair.
And this just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Anyone who lives with neuropathy knows it's a full body experience. It drains your energy, it messes with your sleep, it can hijack your mood. It's just this constant nagging reality that's so much more than just a physical thing.
So here's the big question we're tackling today. What if we could shift our thinking? Instead of just managing the pain, what if we could actively give our bodies the raw materials, the actual building blocks, to help repair that protective coating around our nerves? It's a much more hopeful and way more proactive way of looking at things. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to walk through this step by step. First, we'll look beyond just pain management. Then we'll get into the actual science of how this stuff works. We'll cover which herbs to look for, what you might actually feel, the exact protocol to follow, and then we'll wrap up with some really critical safety info. All right, let's dive into our first section. We're moving past just putting a Band-Aid on the pain. Instead, we're going to focus on 3 major breakthroughs that can support your nerve health from the ground up. So here's what's on deck. We're going to talk about how to kickstart something in your body called nerve growth factor, or NGF, which is absolutely essential for repair. Then we'll look at how you can calm down those haywire pain signals, without that brain fog you get from heavy meds. And finally, we'll lay out the exact protocol to make sure your body can actually absorb and use all these incredible compounds. Okay, now for the fun part, let's geek out a little on the science. I think understanding how these herbs actually work is so important because that's what gives you the confidence that you're on the right track. So let's talk about this hero molecule, NGF, nerve growth factor. The best way to think about it is like your body's own dedicated 24/7 repair crew for your entire nervous system. Its number one job? To maintain and rebuild the myelin sheath. That's the protective coating that works just like the insulation around an electrical wire. And this analogy is just perfect. Because when that insulation, that myelin sheath, gets frayed or damaged, the nerve signals can't travel smoothly anymore. They start to short circuit. And that is what you feel as those sharp, burning, zapping sensations of nerve pain. It's a literal misfire. So where do our herbal allies come in? Well, they play 2 very different but complementary roles. You've got lion's mane mushroom, which actually calls in that NGF repair crew to start rebuilding the physical insulation. Then you have St. John's wort, which works more like a volume knob on your stereo. It doesn't fix the wire, but it helps turn down the volume of those pain signals by working with your neurotransmitters. It's a 1-2 punch, one for repair, one for relief. Okay, so we know how they work. Now, let's talk about choosing the right stuff. And listen, this part is absolutely critical. When it comes to nerve support, the quality, the potency, and the purity of what you're taking, it makes all the difference in the world. You really have to become a labeled detective here. For lion's mane, you want to see both the fruiting body, that's the part you see, and the mycelium, the root structure. Why? Because they have different healing compounds. For St. John's wort, you're looking for an extract that's standardized to 0.3% hypericin. That's your guarantee of potency. And for both, non-negotiable, they have to be certified free from heavy metals. Your nerves are super sensitive to toxins. So what's the payoff here? What could all of this actually mean for your day-to-day life? Let's talk about 3 potential core benefits. 3 ways your daily reality might start to change for the better. I mean, these are the game changers, right? First, imagine fewer of those sudden, jarring electric zaps as the nerves start to calm down. Second, picture the feeling coming back, that wooden or numb sensation in your hands and feet starting to fade. And third, and this is a big one, actually getting better, more restful sleep. We all know nerve pain loves to party at night, so calming the system can make a world of difference. All right, let's get down to brass tacks, the protocol, because it's not just about what you take, it's very much about how you take it. Following these steps is key to making sure you're actually getting the results you're looking for. But first, before we get to the do's, we have to talk about the number 1 don't. There is a single huge mistake that so many people make, and it can basically cancel out all their hard work. It seems small, but trust me, it's a big deal. And there it is, just popping these herbs on an empty stomach with a glass of water, it's just not going to cut it. The absorption is terrible. Your body simply can't grab onto and use the active compounds effectively when you take them this way. So here's the right way to do it. 1. For lion's mane, look for a double extraction that uses alcohol. This helps pull out all the good stuff. 2. Be consistent and patient. Nerve repair is a marathon, not a sprint. You got to give it at least 2 to 4 months to really notice changes. And 3, this is key, add a B complex booster. Let's really zero in on this booster. Think of it this way. The herbs are like the blueprints and the construction crew for the repair job. But the B complex, especially B12 in the right form, methylcobalamin, that's the actual bricks and mortar. It's the physical stuff your body needs to actually build that new, healthy nerve coating. You can't build a house without materials. Okay, we've made it to our last, and I would argue our most important section, safety. We have to talk about finding the right dosage, that sweet spot, and go over some absolutely critical warnings for these herbs. For a good concentrated lion's mane extract, the general therapeutic window is somewhere between 1,000 and 3,000 milligrams a day. Now, that's just a guideline. The golden rule is always to start low and see how your body feels, then gradually work your way up if you need to. Now, I need you to lean in and listen very carefully to this part. This is incredibly important. St. John's wort can have major interactions with medications. It can interfere with birth control and blood thinners. And I cannot say this loudly enough. You should never, ever mix it with SSRI antidepressants. That can be a very dangerous combination. Also, you need to stop taking it at least 2 weeks before any planned surgery. There are a couple of things to keep in mind for lion's mane, too. If you know you have a mushroom allergy or if you have asthma, you need to be extremely cautious or maybe even avoid it. And just like with St. John's wort, it's a good idea to stop taking it 2 weeks before any surgery.
Wow, we have covered a lot of ground. And now I'd really love to hear from all of you, because everyone's journey with this is so different. Where do you feel your nerve pain the most? Is it your hands, your feet, maybe somewhere else entirely? Drop a comment and let's learn from each other.
Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive. And hey, stick around because in our very next explainer, we are going to be talking about something called alpha lipoic acid. People call it the universal antioxidant and its huge role in neuropathy, especially for diabetics. You're not going to want to miss that one. I'll see you